Today, the presence of emerging countries in the world economy is growing. Especially two of the largest countries, India and China, are gaining the world's attention as the next global economic superpowers. We know China achieved rapid economic growth after the year 2000. Referring to this growth pattern in China helps us gain clarity on India's future potential. China began great economic reforms in 1978. While the Indian economy reached an important turning point in 1991 with economic liberalization. This liberalization brought India into a world of new and exciting economic opportunities that led to the entry of international companies and brands, as well as huge growth in infrastructure and transportation, advances in communication, increasing consumption power, and rising demand for premium products. Generally speaking, a GDP of $2,000 is considered as the trigger point for economic boom. China reached this level in 2006 and has grown significantly since then. According to IMF forecasts, India is projected to reach this level 10 years after China, in 2016. Once India crosses this level, it will enter a period of great economic boom. Of course, there are challenges to growth in the short term, such as a complicated political structure and income inequality. Yet, India's long-term growth prospects are very promising because of a number of factors. There are 4 key factors supporting India's growth in the long term. These include the development of infrastructure, the emphasis on industrial growth, a growing young population, and the power of non-resident Indians. Let us take a look at each factor in detail. India's road network, which is already the 3rd largest in the world, is expanding with large government investment. Miles of modern intercity highways are being built daily. Overall logistics are improving with better roads and better vehicles. Airports are being expanded and modernized across all major cities. Delhi and Bangalore have metro trains, which are being introduced in other cities as well. As infrastructure and logistics improve, India is also seeing an increase in premium facilities like 5-star hotels. The country now hosts international events like Cricket World Cup and Formula 1. India is known for its strong tertiary sector led by the IT industry. But now the secondary or industrial sector has been made a focus for development. The government has created over 600 special economic zones for growth of industries and exports. It has started an automotive mission plan with an investment of $40 billion. All this industrial and economic growth is projected to create almost 300 million new jobs by 2025. The percentage of young people in the Indian population is quite large and growing steadily. This growth will lead to an increasing productive age population, which will continue growing up to 2050 and will support India's economic growth. There are more than 30 million overseas Indians in 110 different countries who retain a strong bond with India. In 2010, they sent home $55 billion, which is more than what overseas Chinese sent home that year. Many influential Indians also hold high positions in global corporations. They support increasing foreign direct investments to India. Based on these 4 factors, a steady growth is projected for India's economy. This economic growth is leading to increasing consumption by an expanding middle class, as well as increasing urbanization. For example, Gurgaon has almost doubled in population over the past decade. The city has many large-scale residential projects under construction. These projects are meant for the growing middle-class population, which is estimated to include almost 600 million people by 2025. Targeting this growing middle class, similar projects are now under construction across the nation. This growth in middle class will change the shape of the Indian consumer market, making this segment the largest portion of the population. Let us have a look at the people that constitute this middle class. According to India's prominent marketing expert, Dheeraj Sinha, India's middle class is made up of 3 different generations based on when they were born. The first is the partition generation. They were born after the partition of India, between 1950 to 1970. They grew up in India before liberalization and have traditional and frugal values. The second is the transitional generation. They were born before 1991 and were raised before as well as after economic liberalization. And the third is the no-strings generation. They were born and brought up after 1991 in a liberalized India. The core consumers today and in the future will be from the transitional and the no-strings generation. So let's gain a deeper understanding of these 2 generations. The transitional generation. They are now between 20 and 40 years old and are the core consumers of today. They have a blend of traditional and new sense of values. Influenced by their parents, they are hardworking and understand the importance of saving. At the same time, they have also been influenced by the rapid economic growth around them. Satellite television has exposed them to worldwide trends in fashion, food and entertainment. Yet they still love watching Indian movies. And India's long-time favorite sport, cricket. Exposure to global media has led them to adopt Western attire. Still at times, they wear a mix of Indian and Western fashion to retain their traditional values of dressing modestly. Their shopping destinations have changed, and so have their quality standards because of their exposure to global brands. Yet they still strongly believe in getting maximum value for money. Family and community are important to them. Elders' opinions are valued and decisions are based on family consensus. Even though their outlook has become quite modern, their core values are still traditional. The no-strings generation. Born after India's economic liberalization, they are now between 10 and 20 years old and will be the core consumers of tomorrow. Given everything they asked for, they have grown up as the center of the family. They are surrounded by global products. Because of digital media, they have a high exposure to global culture. They love watching Hollywood movies and follow soccer as well as cricket. Leisure involves hanging out with friends in malls and cafes. Domestic as well as overseas vacations have broadened their outlook at a young age. Equal opportunities for both genders has made the women of this generation quite independent. The concept of household helpers allows them to go out and pursue their careers without barriers. The people of this generation lead very active lifestyles. They have a strong sense of style and expect nothing less than the global best. They are also very comfortable shopping online. Using the internet on their smartphones, they always stay connected with their friends. And it is very important for them to create and retain their unique individuality. Now let us summarize the characteristics of these 2 generations. Together, they will be our major consumers henceforth. While transitional generation's lifestyle is a blend of traditional and modern, no-strings generation has a completely modern lifestyle. Transitional expects global standards, whereas no-strings wants the global best. While transitional's sense of value is highly rational, no-strings sense of value is quite emotional. Transitional likes to consult friends and elders, whereas no-strings is independent and self-reliant. Even with challenges in the short term, India is certainly a very promising market in the long run. As seen in China and the United States, generational shifts in behavior will bring big changes in consumption. By understanding changes in the consumers' lifestyles and behavior, and by offering them products that match their needs, we can also grow with the dreams and aspirations of our Indian consumers.